It was the winter of 1994 in the small North Korean town of Hasan, which is located on the Yalu River, on the border with China. Minyoung was just 17 years old. From the courtyard of her house, she could see the twinkling lights of the Chinatowns across the river. She had a dream of freedom before her eyes. But even though that dream was so close to reach it, she knew that the impossible would have to be made possible. Freedom lay on the other side of the river, but beside her were the North Korean soldiers who constantly patrolled her surroundings. Minyoung took a deep breath and slowly took her first step into the snow. This was the first step on the mysterious journey of her life. The brutal torture that North Korea inflicts on its citizens is infamous around the world. At the same time, escape has become increasingly difficult under Kim Jong-un's rule. Security has increased, fences have been erected, and new orders have been issued. Anyone who tries to cross the border will be shot. But every year, hundreds of Koreans try to escape their country. The result is countless people dying or being imprisoned, one terrible journey after another. Torture, but in the midst of it all, their only goal is freedom. Minyoung, who has done so much in his life, steps towards the Chinese border to overcome the terrible situation. There is only one question before him. If he gets the chance to escape this time, will his life story take a new turn or will something terrible happen to him? Although there are many ways to escape from North Korea, all of them are terrible and bloody. The easiest way may seem to be the journey to South Korea, where the language and cultural traditions are almost the same. However, this path is the most dangerous because in the middle is the demilitarized zone. One of the most dangerous borders in the world. It is demilitarized in name only. In reality, it is a terrible battlefield. Anyone who steps here has the possibility of being shot. In 2017, a man named Unsung wanted to escape through this path, but his escape story was like a movie. Suddenly, one afternoon, something strange happened in the demilitarized area. Unsung was driving a military vehicle towards the border. The South Korean leaders noticed the movement of his vehicle and started chasing him. But Unsung did not stop and started walking, his body tense with excitement. Despite the severe injuries, he did not give up. Finally, he crossed the demarcation line of the border with his kurti and reached South Korea. He had numerous injuries on his body, but his courage saved him. However, crossing the border was not the end because this was just the beginning of the impossible journey to escape from North Korea. As you will understand later, after crossing many borders, Minyoung's life changed completely when he went to China. Upon setting foot in China, Minyoung felt as if he had entered a new world where there was no oppression, no fear, only modernity and the taste of freedom surrounded him. There was only one thought in his mind. Here in this free country, he could only be safe for a few days, but he knew that after that, the real war was left because now he had a new mountain of problems ahead of him, and that was whether he was actually safe in China. Did he really have to be afraid anymore? He knew that one day the news of his escape would reach North Korea and then more danger might come. After escaping to China, Minyoung thought that he would be able to be safe to some extent, but one day while working at a restaurant, two policemen suddenly came and stood in front of him. He wanted to know his identity and took a Chinese language proficiency test. He knew that his life was in grave danger at this moment. If the police had caught even a single mistake in his language, he would have been arrested and sent back to North Korea. But in the end, he passed the language proficiency test and was released by the police. After the police raid in China, Minyoung knew that he would have to be even more quiet and vigilant. He would have to be careful in everything and learn a hard lesson. He moved to Shanghai, where he was given a new identity, a new name, a new identity, and a chance to start a new life. Here, Minyoung got a job at a South Korean company. Now he had only one goal to pursue, which was to move towards South Korea. As the days passed, Minyoung knew that the final destination of this escape journey was South Korea. He knew that going there would open the way for his final liberation in life, but the path was not that easy. While coming from Shanghai, China to South Korea, Minyoung faced a new danger. If immigration suspected him of immigration in any way, his long journey would end here. Immigration officials started questioning him. After hearing his story, they began to suspect him. No matter how many times he was questioned, he could not express his feelings. He felt like he would never be released again, but Minyoung was a zero. He knew that when his journey ended, a new chapter in his life would begin. After weeks of interrogation and terrifying circumstances, he was finally allowed to enter South Korea. For him, that moment was the biggest victory in his life, where his suffering, sacrifice were reflected.